So, you're listening to the Black Nerd Talk Podcast. What is good? Welcome back to another episode of the Black Nerd Talk Podcast, where I, your Black Nerd Renegade X, talk about not just the general nerd stuff, pretty much like gaming and etc. This topic today will be about gaming. Gaming in this day and age and what gaming is about. Because I feel like lately a majority of people do not understand what gaming is. Video games are a way for us to escape reality. A virtual world where we can become anything. An adventure with a journey to gain great power and knowledge. A battle-hardened soldier in the middle of war. A character from our favorite franchise, for example. I can play as Vegeta in a Dragon Ball game, and or create an original character in a game, and you do what you want. Video games offer this world, the characters, the theme, the atmosphere. When you play your favorite game, and it will have you immersed, and you have fun. That's what it's about. Then even better, when you play with someone you know, and you get to create these fun and joyous moments. But in this day and age, gaming has changed. Gaming corporations have gotten greedy, lazy, and etc. Games are filled with microtransactions. A lot of games are trying to be super competitive and have an esports thing going on. And how it seems like there's more and more toxic people because of how society has become toxic in bass backwards. See, it's about the immersion of the game. See, there's too many people out here that I feel, that are just worried about the super competitive aspect of it. Like, oh, I'm trying to be the best top 500 grandmaster, whatever the ranking systems are in the game. I feel like that's what a large majority of people care about. They don't care about having fun. Because it's not about being the best, getting the most kills, and etc. It is about creating joyful, happy moments with friends or just by yourself. And I feel like a majority of people, they don't really appreciate a game like it is, like the story, the theme, the characters. Because nowadays, people only care about gooning over the characters and ranked and competitive. That's all they care about nowadays. Like, you have people out here that don't even want stories, story modes and stuff for these games. They just want to, hop in, pew pew pew, etc. Just don't even care. It's like, wow, really? So you have creators that have put all of this work, the design of the whole world and everything, and then y'all don't really appreciate that. It's like, that's wild. Because when I played video games, I cared for the theme, the characters, and just everything else, the immersion, and having fun. That's what mattered to me. I played games like Sonic, I played Smash Brothers, I played Mario Party, I played Star Fox, I played Devil May Cry, I played, like, there are so many games that I've played. I played Assassin's Creed. And let me tell y'all some of my favorite video game characters. Kirby. His whole story, even though I don't know from the top of my head, but there was one Kirby game that I liked in particular. Kirby and the Amazing Mirror for the Game Boy Advance. Now, for those that don't know what the Game Boy Advance is, it was this little handheld device that would flip and you can close it and stuff like that. And see if I can remember this, but the plot of Kirby and the Amazing Mirror is that there's this mirror world, and then Dark Meta Knight, basically a shadow evil version of Meta Knight, and Meta Knight were fighting because Meta Knight was trying to figure out what's going on here. So Meta Knight got defeated by Dark Meta Knight, got sent into the mirror world. Dark Meta Knight slashed up all the big mirror pieces, scattered them everywhere in the world. And I think what happens next is that when Kirby was just being Kirby, just out in the world and stuff, Dark Meta Knight cut Kirby and split Kirby into 4 different Kirbys. And there are different colors, by the way. I think one is yellow, red, and I think green, if I remember correctly. So basically, all of these Kirbys have to work together to retrieve all the mirror pieces and rescue Meta Knight from the mirror world. And when I played that game, it was just so much fun. The mechanic of being able to call for the other 3 Kirbys to show up as allies, that was real cool. So I tried to get them to follow me, but at a certain point they just do their own thing. Their AI wasn't the best, but they were good to keep aggro off you, I'll tell you that. And plus that game was online, I guess multiplayer as well, but I never got the chance to experience the multiplayer at that time. So that's one game right there. Kirby Air Riders. Ooh wee. And then that Nintendo Direct came up recently with the Kirby Air Riders for the Switch 2. Man, yo, that game. I mean, there's not really too much of a plot besides just the Kirby characters just racing and stuff, but the design of the stages, the grass stage has a waterfall. Then there was it's like this little celestial stage. I think it was Celestial Falls, if I remember. It's called something, but got like this night mystical forest area with the waterfall. Then you got like these creatures and eggs. I don't know what they were though. They ain't never gonna explain that. We will never know. That is gonna be a gaming mystery right there. Then they had the Nebula stage, the volcano stage with the 2 lava dragons jumping. Yo, that game was so good, y'all. It is so good to hear that Kirby Air Ride is getting a sequel. That's just something else. Then you got the Assassin's Creed games where you always find the Templars, and then you got the numerous protagonists. So you got Ezio, then in Syndicate, that was the last one that I played, has Evie and Jacob Fry, the siblings. They basically gotta stop this be honest, I don't want to spoil it, but this high-ranking Templar, let me just say that. And man, just the whole world of London, the NPCs, the character personalities were amazing. See if I can remember another game. Star Fox Assault. Yo. Like, this was after the events of Star Fox Adventures when they had Crystal in there. The blue fox. The blue tribal fox. Like, it starts off, like the story starts off when you're fighting the remnants of Andross' army, which have been taken over by his nephew, Andrew Orkney. So once they get to fight him, basically Andrew Orkney dies from this new threat called the, what were they called? Aperoids. Yeah, the Aperoids, like these advanced alien creatures. They were like parasites. They would take over worlds and reproduce in like swarms and stuff like that. So they faced this new threat in numerous planets. Some characters were turned like a Wolf O'Donnell. I forgot where they had went to his base of cause of Pigma. Cause they thought Pigma was still with Starwolf, but Pigma got exiled cause he did something nefarious that got him kicked out. And then they have a new person to take Pigma's position called Panther, a little black panther that will flirt with Crystal. I know that eventually the Aperoids attack Corneria, so we gotta fight them off. Like, Corneria's getting messed up. They took over General Pepper's ship and stuff. And then you fight the infected General Pepper. He's still alive, thankfully, but the way they had that set up, they made it seem like General Pepper was gonna die. I was like, yo, this is hitting me in the feels, man. Yeah, it was like, yo, and then when you eventually get into the Aperoid world, you gotta fight the final boss, the Aperoid Queen. Sorry for the Discord notification just now. The Aperoid Queen. And it's like it really got intense because the Aperoid Queen tried to do some psychological stuff by changing her voice to people that Fox knows. Like, to his father, to Peppy Hair, and I forgot who else the Aperoid Queen turned into. Then after you get done with the first phase, which is this little free roam, silver chrome looking place, then you go down, fight the Aperoid Queen by yourself in like this falling tunnel thing, and the Aperoid Queen just starts throwing out everything she can throw at you, like super mouth beams to lasers, just everything. And it's like, oh, and I forgot to include this, the Aperoids attack Saria, the land that you find crystalline in Star Fox Adventures. And the design of Saria is like this tropical jungle ancient ruins place. It is just so vibrant and beautiful. It is like, yo, that game is so good. I love Star Fox. I wish they would bring that series back. They did, but they called it a different name. They called it Starlink. I'm like, why are y'all trying to rebrand it? Just call it Star Fox. Like, they could have made they could have did like a sequel to it, to where In Star Fox Command, for those that played that game, there's one ending to where Fox and Crystal have a son called, I think his name is Marcus. It's like a blue fox. And he started forming his team. Falco is taking the role of Peppy Hare. So it's like the mentor and stuff. Like they could have made a whole game of that. Another game that has a deep story is Legend of Zelda. For those that do not know why Link, Zelda are always fighting Ganondorf. In each game, there is a deeper meaning behind it. There is a reason why. In Skyward Sword, that is where the very first Link and Zelda exist. Now that game has a different antagonist completely. It's not Ganondorf / Ganon, it's Demise. Now, after you beat Demise, he will put a curse on the first Link and Zelda. Basically, their descendants are always going to be fighting each other. Ganon is the descendant of Demise. Ganondorf was originally a Gerudo from the Gerudo tribe, which is these darker skin, I guess I would say they tribal, I guess you could say that. Basically, the Gerudo tribe has one male Gerudo every 100 or few hundred years, if I remember correctly. The rest of the Gerudos are female. So basically, Ganondorf is a male Gerudo possessed by Demise's descendant. That's what Ganondorf is. So basically, each game, which is a new timeline universe, whatever, those are the descendants of the first Link, the first Zelda, and Demise constantly fighting each other. That's what that is. And, well, let me say this. There is one game, as far as I know, where Link, Zelda are not fighting Ganondorf, and it's Majora's Mask. Because Majora, and then it's the moon and stuff, those are the main antagonists. So if you think about it, since Ganondorf is not mentioned and stuff in that game, and that's a whole new timeline universe, whatever you wish to call it, that means Ganondorf is just a regular male Gerudo. This man is slinging. He got all the women of his tribe. So that's just what I believe, and that's what I think. But that right there, that is some interesting stuff right there. I like that. Okay, so let's bring up a different video game character here. Let's go with a character from Dynasty Warriors, since I'm familiar with those characters. So Dynasty Warriors is a hack and slash 'em to where it's like where you fight a bunch of enemies, mobs of enemies. But it has aspects of war, strategies, and etc. The original Dynasty Warriors games was game was a fighting game. 2 is when the hack and slash element started, and then so on. The Dynasty Warriors games is based off of the stuff from the Romance of the Three Kingdoms writing, which was written by a Shu officer named Chen Shu. Because of course, since he was a Shu officer, there was more favoritism towards Shu. And of course, he did changes and stuff like that because there were historical things that has happened that is not in that novel. For example, the Battle of Shisui Gate, when Waziong shows up. Historically, Sun Jian was the one that slayed Waziong, but in the novel, in Dynasty Warriors, they have Guan Yu slaying Waziong. But let me talk about some of my favorite characters, their personalities, and why I like them. First one is going to be Sun Jian from Wu. Yes. The reason that I like his character is because he's a humble man, he is a family man. He actually treats his kingdom like family. This man has technically had from the top of my head 6 children. There are 6 children that I know he has. Sun Ce, his oldest son. There's Sun Quan, another son. Sun Shansang, his daughter. And then there's 2 more. I said 6, but there's really 5 children. There's 2 more that I know. I think it's Sun Jing and Sun Quang. I think that's the 2. But those 2, there are generics in all of the games. I don't know what they did though, but I'm surprised that they're not playable. But yeah, Sun Jian is a humble man, and when he gets serious, he will get serious. And what I've seen of his personality in the games, I feel like I can relate and connect with him because of how he is. Because you have this strong father figure. And then when Yuan Shu put his army in danger by holding out on supplies just because Yuan Shu was just being a dirtbag, because he ain't like what Sun Jian said or did or whatever. Sun Jian, I know in Origins, he confronted him about it. I was like, yeah, stand up to him. Another character that I like is Guan Yu. Yes, the honorable, strong God of War. Yes, that is his title, the God of War. Basically, he did amazing things. He was loyal to his sworn siblings, Liu Bei and Zhang Fei. Now, Guan Yu started off as a fugitive on the run for 5 years because he defeated I think it was a Han official or somebody that was abusing their power. And through each of the games I've seen Guan Yu in, he would display this honor, this strength. He would always talk about honor. And I've definitely seen it through his actions and stuff in the games. And I do understand that the Dynasty Warriors characters historically were more rough and barbaric. Considering that timeline, I definitely understand that completely. Kratos, that's another character that I like. And then especially how he turned out in the most recent games. His games right there got an interesting story as well, because that has to do with Greek mythology. So basically, Kratos' story is a Spartan warrior. And I think he served under, I don't know if he served under Ares or what. There's something that he did with Ares. But basically, I think when he served under Ares or got some command from him during a mission or something, he tricked him into slaughtering his own family. And the reason why Kratos has the white skin, because those are the ashes of his family. Ever since then, Kratos has been on a path to kill the Greek gods, in which he did. So, after he did his objective, we get the Kratos that we know now, where he's in Norse mythology now. This man has grown a beard. He's more calm now. He has a son. And I like the character transition, because he just used to be about revenge. To avenge his family and stuff like that. Angry and etc. To a more calm, wiser Kratos. But he still understands the harsh reality of the world. See, there's a couple of quotes from him that I like. It says, "Don't be sorry, be better." In another quote he said, can't remember verbatim, but he said, "The battlefield is a place for a man, no place for a boy." Another thing he said is, they fight in wars for survival and power. Like, there are so many good Kratos lines that are just amazing in the recent God of War games. Like God of War, I think it was 2014, 2015. And then there's God of War Ragnarok, which is the latest one. Okay, so I want to talk about a recent character in a recent game. Her name is Freyna. She is a character from the first Descendant. Basically, her kit is she uses a toxic damage. She wears like this, kind of like a biker outfit with a black leather jacket, exposed leather jacket. She got like black gloves with like green claws on it, black leather pants and black heels. She has black hair, medium length black hair. So, of course, majority of people know the first Descendant for having a bunch of Gunnar content and Gunnars residing in that game. But that game has a story to it. I just forgot completely what it is and how all the events were happening, but there's like this antagonist group called the Vulgus, and I think there's another group too, but the main guy in charge of it, it's like this big tyrannical dude called Karel, and he has his minion Amon. Basically, the Descendants, they're like as if you are familiar with Destiny and Warframe, they're like these humans that have powers. The Descendants are the ones with powers though, but there are some NPCs, that can get their powers. They're called arcs or something like that. But Freyna, her backstory is she had went on a mission with her lover and their squad, basically the mission went bad and her lover had died in the process. So she has been holding on to that for a long time. She has a quest that goes over her backstory and it explains all that stuff. And I forgot what was the message. Like, they really said it too. They get something about loving yourself or something like that. But yeah, that's... And the people that know me, I love me some Frano. I ain't even gonna lie to you. But I do know that she is human. And she has emotions just like me and just like every other human being. And I'ma say this now, I'm not no gooner. I do not goon. I say of course I'm a man. You know, I like the opposite sex. You know, just biological stuff, of course, you know. I say we humans. But I know the limits of things. I know the limits of things. But yeah, First Descent is kind of this looter shooter, third person looter shooter, of course. I think you go to, I don't know if it's planets or different parts of it is something, but you travel through these worlds like a desert world, sterile land, like this wasteland, frozen, not frozen, but like this snowland, like the fortress of it all, and etc. It's the landscapes and stuff are interesting. They're very interesting. Warframe, that has an interesting story too, like this futuristic cybernetic world to where I think most of the factions used to be together, then they split up to like different things, like the Grineer, the Corporus, like the technological enemies. The Grineer are like the, kinda like the, how can I explain it? Like more military, rustic military look. And then you have the infested. Those are just like the parasitic enemies and stuff like that. Then you got the Orokin. Cause the Orokin, that's where it all started. Then there was a bunch of stuff that they did which caused chaos and all the other stuff to happen. And then there's the Sentients. They were made by the Orokin. So a lot of the factions and stuff that goes on was because of the Orokin. The Warframes were designed by the Orokins. The Prime frames, those are the original Warframes. Like depending on who it is, they'll have black and gold, or white and gold, or black, white and gold. But the recent ones are starting to have different colors now, so they're just not that standard color. And the Prime Warframes are powerful, more powerful than the regular, of course. The regular Warframes, those are just the, I don't want to call them cheap knockoffs, but they're like the watered down version. They're powerful, but not as powerful as their Prime counterparts. But yeah, these games, man, folks have really got to go back into the mindset of having fun, the immersion, caring about the characters and etc. Because I do not like how they just downplay games to just goon in, ranked, put everything on the silver platter, give it to me now, yada yada yada. Like, if folks just being mad toxic mainly because of how society is. And there is something I want to say as well. So, for those that don't know me, I am a PvE, which is player versus environment, so players versus bots and etc. I am not a PvP person. Now I do have gameplay videos of the Overwatch PvP, which was capture the flag and some other modes. I have dabbled in that, but I don't anymore. That right there was an exception. I've dealt with PvP in some games before, like Smash Brothers Online and stuff like that. But when I was growing up, I mostly just played PvE games. I just played against bots and I had fun doing it. I still have fun doing it to this day. And the reasons why I don't play PvP is because I do not want to deal with the toxicity in PvP. I am introverted. I am an INFJ, which is introverted initiative, feeling and judging. I enjoy my peace. I want to have fun. I'll just be chilling and all that stuff when it comes to bots, because bots can be difficult depending on the developers and stuff on the game that created the coding for the game. Think about it though. The enemies of Dark Souls, those are bots. The bosses, those are bots. AI, and then how they have the game set up too. So AI can provide a challenge, trust. I just want to have fun. And another thing is, I bought/downloaded the games. I have the freedom to do what I want with the games. If I want to play bots, that is me. And really that rule goes for any person. They spent their money, their time to download the game so they can do what they want with it. If they want to play PvP, that's them. If they want to play bots, that's them. If they down for whatever, they can play PvP for this time, play bots for this time. That is on them. As long as they are having fun, not ruining people's time, not infringing on people's rights. And the fact that you have people out here that try to shame people for playing bots and saying, oh, but it's bots. You don't realize how ridiculous you sound. So you're really trying to shame somebody for having fun. Are you really that miserable? Because imagine me doing that same thing instead of saying, oh, but it's boss. I'll be on somebody's comment section when they're doing a PvP match and say, oh, but it's players. Do you realize how ridiculous that sounds? And plus, when it comes to bots be doing some funny stuff, y'all. From the typical running into the wall to doing some stupid backflipping off the stage or falling off. Man, I don't see that. Y'all do some funny stuff over the years. And I love it. So I'ma say this for anyone that just plays bots in video games. Don't let anybody shame you, make you feel bad for playing bots. If you're having fun, that's where it's at. If you want to do that, that is you. Ain't no issues over here. If you want to play PvP, if you're having fun, cool, more power to you. If you want to play ranked, if you're having fun, more power to you. That doesn't make any sense, just to shame and do all that stuff for somebody that's, doing something different. There is nothing wrong with being different. Everybody is different. But yeah, this is gonna be the end of the podcast episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Go ahead and check out my socials in the link in the description and or comment section. Thank y'all for listening / watching. Y'all have a blessed one, and I'll see y'all next time.